guys, and welcome back to the Daily WrestleCast here on the Casual Wrestling channel. It is Thursday, May 16th. I am the host of the show, the Notorious Nerdy D, the voice of the casual wrestling fans. Each and every day, I drop in for a few moments to talk to you guys, the casual wrestling faction, about the biggest things going on in the world of professional wrestling. If you enjoy the casual wrestling content, please take a second to join the Casual Wrestling faction. The link is in the description of the video. It is 100% free to join. That is where we do exclusive giveaways like our Crumble Cookie giveaway, which will happen this Friday in the Casual Wrestling faction group. All you have to do is go check out the Mike and D podcast. We did a casual list where we named the top 8 match stipulations, and if you go into the Casual Wrestling faction group page, you will be able to click on a link that will take you to a bracket where you decide what is your favorite wrestling wrestling stipulation of all time. Let's jump right into the news this week. Tiffany Stratton made headlines this week by posting a video of herself attacking Jade Cargill, tagged with a racially insensitive lyric from a song. I'm not going to play the video here. If you haven't seen it, it is all over Twitter and social media. You can find it and you can form your own opinions on that video. I'm not going to touch on the racial sensitivity of the Tiffany Stratton video. I don't think that's my place to do that. I think that's a conversation that could be had with Mike next Tuesday. We can get into the deeper meanings of what the video actually was. What I will touch on today is the ignorance of Tiffany Stratton to be in the position that she is currently in and to make a bonehead move like posting something stupid on social media. Joke or no joke, I'm not going to debate that. I'm not going to debate what the video actually was, but you have to be professional. You have to be smarter than that. When you reach a certain level of fame and people are looking at everything you do under a microscope, you have to be more strategic than this. You have to stay away from political, racial, and just offensive posts altogether. I imagine that WWE has social media classes that these wrestlers have to go through at the Performance Center. This is a bonehead move by Tiffany Stratton. When you are on the precipice, I believe, of winning the King of the Ring tournament, to come out and give people a reason to go against you is just stupid. And I know there will be responses on this video from both sides. Even though I'm not going to speak on the racial aspects of the video, there are going to be responses from both sides. You're going to have one side of the argument that screams, Tiffany Stratton's a heel. This is what she's supposed to do. Tiffany Stratton was just telling a joke. If Jade Cargill doesn't care, then nobody should care. Okay? That's one side of the argument. But on the flip side, there's an argument that's being made that this is racially insensitive, and that racial sensitivity is never a joke. That the person on the other end receiving the joke doesn't speak for the mass group of people who consume said content. And admittedly, I understand both sides of the argument. I can see how both sides are correct in certain aspects of what they say. I can tell you from my experiences in cultural diverse locker rooms, growing up an athlete. Now, mind you, this is early 2000s, different time in the world, but growing up in the 2000s in culturally diverse locker rooms, nothing was off limits amongst friends. We were brothers. We could say basically whatever we want, and we knew that it was meant for humor. This is not a justification for what Tiffany Stratton said. This is just me giving you my perspective on what I went through when I was in a locker room with people I considered to be brothers. We didn't see color. We just saw family. We saw friends, and we wanted to make each other laugh. Not a justification, just context for what I experienced. But I would love the opportunity to hear from both sides. I would love to find where that line, where that divide is on this topic. I think that everybody's personal experiences tend to kind of shape how they view the situation. I would absolutely love to hear from other ex-athletes who were in, diverse locker rooms who maybe had the same experiences that I had, who could view this as a joke. I'd like to hear from the people who think that this is what a heel is supposed to do, that they're supposed to blur the lines of what is and isn't okay. I'd love to hear from the people who think that this was an offensive joke, that this is not sensitive, that you cannot do this when you're in the public eye. And it would be my dream that we could have a constructive conversation about race and jokes in 2024, but it's not going to happen. My comment section, even though I didn't take a side, my comment section will probably turn into World War III. It will turn into just absolute shit show, but it's worth a shot. I'm going to take a shot. I'll post this on TikTok and we'll see what happens. But my final take on this is, joke or no joke, it's just a bonehead move. It's just stupid. The pros don't outweigh the cons when you post something like this. And maybe it was a throwaway post. Maybe Tiffany Stratton thought it was funny. Maybe she did it for attention, but you just have to be strategic. You have to know that people are going to react a certain way to everything you say. And the way you present yourself on social media, you have to be ready for the backlash that comes from that. Story number 2 today is Ricky Starks defends CM Punk amid hiatus from AEW television. So Ricky Starks went on the What Culture podcast to talk about his AEW absence and how he felt about CM Punk, basically saying that CM Punk has only gone out of his way to be nice and help out Ricky Starks, and has gave him different advice at different times that help motivate him to get to where he wants to be in professional wrestling. Look, the CM Punk debate has been beaten to death. At this point, you're on one of two sides. You either believe that he was defending himself and doing what a grown-ass man does, or you're on the side that he's a cancer to a locker room and that you're not allowed to stand up when you feel there's injustice. But the more important thing I took away from this article is that Ricky Starks has been put on the shelf without ever being injured or suspended in AEW. And that leads me to this thought line of, imagine having a commercial star like Ricky Starks and sitting him on the bench because he took CM Punk's side. That's why he's on the bench, guys. The level of petty and the willingness to sabotage your own company to make sure that somebody who has conflicting friendships is absolutely astonishing to me at this point. Ricky Starks, 6 foot tall. I will gladly take him in the WWE. I will gladly allow him over to the men's team. After hearing Ricky Starks talk on the podcast, he's a Nerdy D guy through and through. No bullshit. Let's work. Let's get the job done. Let's let my in-ring stuff speak for itself. Nick Khan, Triple H, gas up the jet. Get the ink ready, and let's sign our boy Ricky Starks over to the men's league. Let's get him in WWE. It's time. He wants to be with Cody. He wants to be back with CM Punk. Let's make it happen. But AEW fans, you guys want to know why your company's failing? You want to know why no TV companies are banging on the door? Look no further than Exhibit A here. AEW, more importantly, the EVPs of your company, the Young Bucks, will shelve anyone who gets commercially successful outside of a storyline with the Elite. Ricky Starks cut the promo on MJF that made the wrestling world take notice. He had the casual fans like myself peeking over at AEW to pay attention what was happening on Collision when he was running a story with CM Punk and they had that alternate AEW world title. Then boom, CM Punk leaves, you shelf Ricky Starks, no more, you better fall in line, guy. You're a Punk sympathizer, you're a Cody Rhodes guy. We won't stand for that in AEW, no matter how successful it makes our company. When is the wrestling community going to start holding Tony Khan accountable for shelving guys that are under contract? For years, the IWC went after Vince McMahon, and rightfully so, for holding people up in contracts, for holding people hostage. Vince McMahon was a piece of shit. But how long, IWC, is it going to take you to realize that Tony Khan is just a spoiled, neurodivergent version of Vince McMahon? One and the same. They're replaceable. Same dude. Just rich guys who don't give a shit what happens to other people. I will happily take Ricky Starks in WWE any day of the week. Hashtag free Ricky Starks. Story number 3 today is the Young Bucks are getting a signature Reebok pump shoe. Desperation makes companies do crazy shit. Oh, how the mighty Reebok has fallen from the top of the sports shoe world. I remember the day when Reebok had athletes like Allen Iverson and J.J. Watt, when they had Shaquille O'Neal and Chad Ochocinco. Now, you can buy a Reebok sweatshirt in Walmart and you can head down to your local Champs and get yourself a pair of the new Nick Jackson ones. Who the hell thought that giving the Young Bucks a signature shoe was a good marketing idea? Who the hell is buying this shoe? Let me catch one of you grown-ass men out here rocking a pair of the Young Buck pumps. Let me catch y'all. Let me catch y'all out here rocking a pair of the Reebok Young Buck pump ones. Dude, the AEW audience doesn't go to the mall. The AEW audience hardly showers. You think these guys are going to drop $180 on a new pair of tennis shoes? Come on, man. Imagine being 5'10" and getting a signature Reebok basketball shoe. This is where Reebok is. They're in Walmart and they're giving signature shoes to AEW wrestlers. But this is just another example of the Young Bucks going into business for themselves. Who is this for? What is the play here? This is only about their egos. This is literally them being able to say they have their own shoe. No grown-ass man is going to the mall to buy these shoes. Not at $180. Maybe if you put these things for $19 in Walmart, someone will buy them, but not at $180. And AEW does not have the child-friendly audience to support the launch of a Reebok pump tennis shoe. I'm sorry. Story number 4 today, Sami Zayn believes his world championship chances are stronger than ever under the Triple H WWE regime. I feel sorry for Sami Zayn. I really do. I think Sami is living on hope and he's living on a prayer. They created a whole ass storyline for you, Sami Zayn, where they had you sitting in the stands contemplating if you could still do it, if you could still win the big one, win the World Heavyweight Championship, all to be then relegated to the consolation prize, and a very nice consolation prize, might I ask, but the consolation prize of beating Gunther and being given another Intercontinental Championship run. Sadly for Sami Zayn, I think he's been to the top of the mountain. I think it was Elimination Chamber against Roman Reigns. Sami Zayn is one of those guys who every so often he gets hot, but he tends to just cool off way too fast to maintain the momentum that you need to be a world champion. Sami Zayn, once again, unfortunately, is going to have to find a way to recreate himself. He's going to have to find a way to recreate that bloodline magic. And the problem is that last time he kind of snuck up on us. He snuck up on the casual fans. He kind of hit us with this underdog mentality. He kind of hit us with, oh, Sammy's got a sense of humor. But now the casual audience, we're privy to that. We kind of expect it from Sami Zayn. So it's a little harder to catch lightning in a bottle twice when people are expecting it this time. And at 39 years old, it's a tough sell, Sami. You have to start looking out over the WWE waters and saying, Gunther's got a nice long title run in him. Drew McIntyre's probably going to get another title run. Guys like Jey Uso's probably in line. Braun Breaker's in line. I'd say Chad Gable's creeping up that ladder. Then I'd say Seth Rollins jumps back in. You got to figure out where you fit into this hierarchy, Sami Zayn. If he's going to do it, if Sami's actually going to do it, he's going to pull off being a world champion, it's going to take another Daniel Bryan type situation where he creates just an undeniable buzz, and WWE and Triple H have no choice but to go, all right, we got to put the title on him. We got to see what happens here. But can he do it again? That's the question. Because I hope every wrestler who is of the quality of Sami Zayn at some point in their career gets the opportunity to be a world champion. The problem is we just have to be realistic at this point, especially with the way Triple H has shown that he is in favor of these longer title runs. Sami Zayn, ultimately, we're going to have to chalk it up to being a victim of the reign of Roman Reigns. There's going to be a list of guys when they get to the end of their career and we look back and we say, man, these guys were good. They just happened to be in their prime when Roman Reigns was running WWE. You can blame WWE for unifying the title, Sami Zayn. You can blame Vince McMahon for putting all his marbles in the jar of Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. We can call it wrong place, wrong time for Sami Zayn. Unfortunately, from where I'm sitting, without a miracle, I just don't see how Sami Zayn can get back to that place to be a world heavyweight champion. Last story I'm touching on today is Jordan Grace posted a snack suggestion that set the IWC on fire. So TNA star Jordan Grace posted a picture of her new favorite snack that she enjoys for gains, which was 2 Pop-Tarts with a slab of raw meat inside the middle. Now, as a resident of the Team Fat Club, down 7 pounds though, by the way, just to let everybody know, I'd have to say this might be the most disgusting thing that I've ever seen in my life. If this is the type of shit that you have to eat to look like Jordan Grace, I'm out. I'm out, bro. I don't need it. I don't want it. I'm not sure that I would eat this thing if the steak was cooked in between the Pop-Tarts. If I had to say, I'm probably more of a medium rare Pop-Tart guy if I'm doing it. But on top of that, she went with a strawberry sprinkle Pop-Tart and raw meat. I'm sorry. I like to pair my salmonella with the only acceptable Pop-Tart to eat, which is the brown sugar and cinnamon Pop-Tart. But real talk. Aren't there like parasites and shit inside of raw meat? Or was I just taught a bunch of lies growing up in school? This is disgusting. Is this real? Was she being for real? Or was this a joke? Am I just like, did it go right over my head? Or is this a real thing? Is Jordan Grace out here eating Pop-Tarts with raw meat in between? Somebody let me know. Let's drop the final blow and then let's get out of here. Finish him. Okay, IWC. Any of you who enjoyed seeing your AEW World Champion Swerve Strickland get a glass picture frame smashed over the top of his head, you're either an idiot or you're a complete psychopath. That was a Walmart glass frame. That was a Dollar General ass frame. That was not a prop. That was not a stunt prop. And you had Swerve Strickland take a direct shot to the front of the dome with real glass again. You guys see what CM Punk was talking about here, right? Did you guys see the way his eye was just squirting blood? That wasn't like a razor cut. That was the glass going through this man's eye. Which AEW producer approved this spot? How did this come across Tony Khan's desk and he said, yeah, no, sure, I like that idea. Like, is it not as effective to just use sugar glass or to hit him in the back of the head? This is why I put AEW on timeout. I'm glad I'm not watching right now. I'm glad that I'm experiencing AEW through the lens of social media. I'm not going to watch these things live. This is not wrestling. This is just stupid. These are stupid stunts that make absolutely no sense. I don't want to live in a world where it is okay to hit a grown man in the front of the face with a glass frame from Walmart. That just bad things happen. If that thing was 6 inches lower, Swerve Strickland's missing an eye today. Like, that's reality. That's the real shit. You got Darby Allin coming back after being hit by a bus and wrestling again. Like, AEW is an absolute shit show. There's no safety standards. I don't know who the producers are, but they absolutely have no clue what's going to happen on Dynamite before Dynamite happens. I guarantee you all of this stuff is happening behind the producers' backs, and then they're having to go justify this stuff to the TV network. It's so stupid. It's why they can't get new TV rights deals and things like that. Just dumb, AEW. Just dumb. Let me know your thoughts on today's episode in the comments, and while you're there, make sure to join the Casual Wrestling Faction Club. Link in the description of this video. Thank you guys, as always, for taking the time to hang out. I am Nerdy D. You guys are the Casual Wrestling Faction, and we will talk more about pro wrestling tomorrow.